Hello and welcome to Delusions of Grandeur at the Wallace Collection with me, the artist, Grayson Perry. One of the first things you see is this cabinet here full of what looks like sort of documentary evidence about this strange artist that hangs around the Wallace Collection who makes her own versions of the works here. And her name is Shirley Smith. I have to tell you at this point, I made her up. The idea of Shirley came to me from an artist called Madge Gill, a visionary artist, an outsider artist from the early part of the 20th century. She was a very productive artist. She'd had some very traumatic experiences in her early life, but she sort of channeled a lot of these thoughts and feelings into her art. And then I found out this strange fact. She actually exhibited here in 1942 at the Wallace Collection. So that set my mind spinning. I invented my own outsider artist who was obsessed with this amazing collection. It gave me permission to make sort of, I suppose, art in that vein. So I thank Madge for Shirley. One of the things I did was I wrote a kind of biography of Shirley. She's the sort of fantasy heiress of the Wallace Collection. She had a mental breakdown when she was in her sort of teenage years through to her 20s. She was in an institution, and making art gave her a place she could go where she was in control. This is often why we have sort of fantasies. We create worlds where we're in control if the real world feels a little bit chaotic and dangerous to us. One of the things often when you look at outsider art, it's very obsessive. There's a lot of hours worked into it. I love the sort of spirit of it. And I think, I have got many elements to my own practice that are similar to that. I quite often have a sort of central fantasy figure when I'm putting an exhibition together. I didn't want it to be a kind of deception that Shirley was a fantasy artist. But I wanted people to maybe kind of slightly start to doubt. So in the audio guide and things like that, there's her voices in there, and I want people to think, is she real or not? Because everything feels quite real. There's pieces from the collection here at the Wallace, there's pieces by me, and there's pieces by Shirley Smith. Wink, wink.